It's like putting ketchup on a glizzy.
Did you say it was disrespectful to put a cylinder head in the back of an NSX?
I'm not knocking it, but I didn't think you would.
What's the torque specs?
Fuck your torque specs.
To a video that I've always wanted to make. We are gonna build a 260 horsepower K24. I'm kind of gonna just walk through the whole steps. A customer came in, he has an FG. He wants a 260 horsepower K24. Kind of something I always wanted to put on the channel. I know a lot of you guys probably don't have it or have it, but this will give you an idea of what to do. And I don't want to say it's a simple setup, but it is a simple setup. And it's not cheap, it's not too cheap, not too expensive, if that makes sense. So kind of gonna walk you through on how to build a 260 horsepower K24 daily driver. Pretty much I said, daily driver, 260 horsepower car. My boy here with me.
It's kind of a budget, but fun car, right?
It is budget. I wanna say within parts, I mean.
People, because I'm sure they're gonna wanna know, after we go through the parts, maybe give them a price of what the parts are alone.
I kind of just, we'll walk through that together right now. So we have what we love to start off with, us personally, and my recommendation to you guys is K24 A2 from 06 to 08 Acura TSX, preferably automatic. We usually put cartel cams in, but the only reason we don't use the 04, 05 TSX engines because they burn a lot of oil. They all burn oil, but the 04, 05 just tends to burn a lot more oil.
Ain't nothing a little race fuel can't fix, baby. What you talking about? Put a little bit of nitro on top?
Daily driver. So prefer to get, if you are buying an engine, get an automatic engine. You see this is still an automatic motor. K24 A2 is the preferred motor. This motor someone already did the timing parts on.
It's all aftermarket junk though.
It is.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of walk you through all the parts, and then I want to give a huge shout out to Auto Fair Honda. They're in New Hampshire. If you guys need anything from them, they are the most knowledgeable dealer. Ask for Ryan. He will give you a full seal kit. We literally call them. They have everything in stock. So down to every single seal, every single timing component.
Even the Honda bond. Come on.
It comes with everything. He has everything. So we have a timing chain. We have crank seal, all the seals here, guides, upper guide, timing chain tensioner, exhaust manifold, intake manifold gasket, valve cover gasket. This customer supplied a...
This is nice. You know why? You know why I like this?
What is?
Because I don't got to cut now.
You don't got to cut. So
nope.
4Piston sells a oil pump kit. He got the full oil pump kit from 4Piston. It's already pre-cut and it's ported. And then full seal kit also still from Auto Fair. Shout out to my boy Jeremy at Drag Cartel.
I love the OGs.
Best cams on the market for a K-Series, Drag Cartel 3.2s. Then we have a set of SuperTech springs retainers. We usually use Ferrea stuff, but SuperTechs will work for your street setup. New valve seals.
Retainers. Got the water neck gasket on the side, and the baffle. And that's it.
So, me and Jarek were speaking, so we have to change the valve seals. So we decided we're gonna take the head off the motor, put a brand new head gasket on it. I'm gonna get ARP head studs and just do it the right way. This video will basically be a full teardown of this and reinstall. It will be the first part of the video. Later on, maybe a month, because we're so busy here, I'm gonna tell him to bring his car in. We'll get this engine in his car with a new clutch, flywheel, stuff like that, and then we'll put on a dyno. So his current car has a Z3 motor in it, it's all stock. He's gonna put an intake manifold, throttle body, 550cc injectors. Mounts.
Have to do the mounts.
Mounts.
You have to do the mounts when it's an FG, right?
FG.
Yeah, when you're putting 2.4 on the FG, you have to get the Hasport mounts to kind of correct where everything sits. Because if you don't, you have to kind of modify your mounts, and then the motor's up so high that if you have a header on it, it kind of like touches the subframe a little bit. So definitely get some mounts.
I agree. So that's pretty much the plan here. The plan is to fully build this motor with all brand new timing components, new oil pump kit, head package to make 260 wheel. And this engine is going in an FG Civic Si. I'll see you guys. We're gonna rip this head apart now, and then we're gonna take it to the machine shop and then get to rebuilding this tomorrow. So I'll see you guys. Any tips on how to keep the rockers and people that are watching to, because these like to split apart?
Yeah, usually the rocker assembly will spring apart because there's actually springs and pins in here. So always say a prayer, and then
when you're pulling this off, keep them.
keep tension as tight as you can, because once these start to, if I lift this up, they'll start falling.
Yeah.
So once they fall, springs can come out, pins can go flying, and then you'll never even know.
If you don't know what you're doing, these have to go back in a certain way. So these have tension. You see, like this spring right here is actually coming out. But if those things all fall apart, like we know how to put them back together. But if you guys at home don't know what you're doing, just keep it tight. When I was a kid, like when I first started my first one, I zip tied all mine together to keep them tight. And I zip tied the whole thing around it to keep tension, because if your motor is sitting for a long time, you don't want it to like unload. Cause I didn't know what I was doing. But now like I know.
Zip ties are actually harder because you have to get them, the
Yes.
rocker's still on. So you know what I use? I don't use them anymore because, you know.
You taught me this trick a while ago, but I didn't have. Yeah, I'll let you tell them.
If you go to Home Depot in the hardware aisle,
You teaching them all the tricks
you
too.
can buy a set of magnets, right? And look at the size of these.
So where do you get those?
Home Depot, right in the hardware section, right? And when I used to work at the dealer, I use these, and they keep the rockers up to the cams.
So
And then you don't have to compress them and fight with them. You just lift them on and off.
you taught me that a while ago. Cheap. How much were those?
I think they were $2.
$2.
But
And
you have to
then,
be careful because they will break if you let them like snap.
and can you show them also? I know this is probably off topic, but that piece that we got to lock the cams when you set timing.
Yeah, we got the K2 one.
So yeah, we got the K-tune one. So it's easier when you set timing. The cams don't move.
I'll use them when we put the actual timing on them.
Yeah. So see those holes right there?
So there's two holes. There's one here,
Light on.
and there's one in the rocker assembly right about here.
So we
Now
set
the
you can,
cam is locked in timing. And you do that to both, and then top dead center.
so you can get this at K-tune to lock the cams. Easier for you to put this on timing.
Yep.
But I just wanted to share that with you guys, just like one of those little tricks that we have here. I used to do this back at home without it, and then like I said, the same thing with the rocker setup. You don't want it to fall apart. Like I ran into that before, and then you start having issues.
I don't think you can get the timing on without locking it. I've tried, believe me, but I don't think there's any way, because it's like just the slightest bit is like a whole tooth. You wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, so definitely those are like cheap things to get. The magnet and then the piece from K-tune to lock the timing. Yo, J-Rock,
Yeah.
why do you do everything by hand and not with a gun?
Because you don't want to fuck up the threads, right? Don't ever put a 1/2 inch impact on here and just bang these out, because you could fuck the threads up. So I like to do it by hand.
Ah, see, that's so you can tell the viewers that 'cause these dudes are probably hitting their thing with a 1/2 inch.
That's what we do with stock heads then.
All right, so we got the cylinder head off. The valves don't look too bad. I'm still gonna do a valve job on this and clean it up. But we have to do a lot of cleaning up to this block because stock TSX engines, they freaking leak oil. There's all the seals. I gotta clean all this up, which is honestly the worst part about the whole thing. But for now, I guess I'm gonna head over to the machine shop, drop the cylinder head off. We're gonna get the valve seals put in. I'm gonna do a valve job on it. This head will look brand new when it comes back. It'll get hot tanked, like it'll get all the works. It'll have basically pretty much a brand new cylinder head. We're gonna keep the stock valves. It's like kind of like what we've been doing. Stock valves hold up. You don't need to get aftermarket Ferrari valves. The stock valves are great. You just put springs, retainers, cams, basically get the head package, VTC gear, and you're good for 260. Like J-Rock, honestly, made 400 horsepower
That was on nitro.
on nitro. Stock valves.
I made 290. I think it was like 291 on the dyno when we went to Maryland. I forgot what event it was. I ran 1040s.
All day,
All day.
back to back. Yes,
It was crazy.
He had a PPG 1.2. Did you have a 3.4 at the time?
Yeah, it was full.
Yeah. So full, anything like you go into 10s, I recommend a full dog box. But you can get away with PPG just 1.2 and then do a stock 3.4. But this is not what this is about. This is a 260 horsepower daily, and that's what we're gonna make it. This motor will look really nice when we're finished with it. It's gonna look, we're gonna dress it up, make it look good. I'm gonna walk you guys through the whole steps. I won't try to make this video as long, that way you guys can just watch it very quickly. So, but that's the plan. I'm gonna drop the head off to the machine shop today, and then hopefully get it back together, get some head studs, new head gasket, and start assembly. Did you say it was disrespectful to put a cylinder head in the back of an NSX?
I'm not knocking it, but I didn't think you would put the head in it, but
You wouldn't do that?
I would, yeah.
That's a complete DJ move right there.
I would totally do it, right in the passenger seat.
I put it in the trunk.
It's in there?
It's in there. It's back there. At least I put it back down, right?
You got trunk room in this thing?
Come on, baby. Right here. Put the cylinder head right in the back, and we off to the machine shop.
Oh, it's cozy.
It's cozy in there, right?
Good.
I can fit some shit back. I can put a block back there.
I said if you were a true G, you would put it on the fucking roof.
Roof. You gonna dent my car? I'd put this shit in the passenger seat too.
I would. Fuck it. Daily.
All right, boys, I'm gonna drop a few gems for you guys. So using the factory valves, just use the factory keepers. We've seen a lot of people drop valves because of that issue. Keep that in mind, any guys building a car. If you're using stock valves, use factory keepers. I also want to stress the fact that I wish there was a blueprint when I was growing up as far as building engines, but this is why obviously I'm making this video for a lot of you guys. The machine shop matters that you bring your engine to. Growing up, I've learned that there's good machine shops and there's bad machine shops. You can get a shitty one and you can get a good one. Me personally, I use, like if it's local, like I use like E&G Machine Shop here in Wallingford, Connecticut. If you guys want to use them, if you're local in the Connecticut area, they did all my work in the past. They still do some of my work. Basically for like something like a resurface, valve job, you know, springs retainers, stuff like that. I bring it there with valve seals, but that's a key factor. I'm just making this video also for the guys that are not knowledgeable. I know some of you guys are knowledgeable in this. Like I said, I didn't have this growing up. For you guys building that 260 horsepower car, like I'm trying to give you like, there's a blueprint to everything, you know, and we figured out the blueprint to make 280, 300, 400, 500, 600 horsepower on an all-motor K, or 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 wheel horsepower on a K series or B series. There's just a way to go about things. Sorry to keep ranting, but there's a certain way to go about everything as far as like using OEM parts or using this or using that. So we kind of just bend down that road so many times that I know what works, what doesn't work. If you guys ever have any questions, just either shoot me a message or drop it in the comments. We try to help out as much people as possible. That way you guys are only spending your money once and not 4 times, 5 times. Because me growing up, man, I spent money 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you know, until I figured out how to do it the right way. It just took years and years and years of experience. Here today, I'm gonna share it with you guys. This is basically the recipe to build a 260 horsepower K-series engine. I dropped the head at the machine shop. They're gonna resurface the head, put the springs retainers in, valve seals. So basically they're gonna clean up the stock valves. If I need any valves that look like a little tweaked, they're gonna change out the valves, and the head's gonna pretty much look brand new when we get it back. It is gonna be basically a brand new head. I'll see you guys in a few days after we get the cylinder head back. It's officially assembly day. Huge shout out to E&G Machine Shop. Got us the head back super quick. Here's a cylinder head. They put all the springs retainers in. And then check out the valves. So these are the original valves that came out. They just cleaned them up. You see they're the OEM valves that are in there. We just basically got a valve job done from them. Had resurfaced. They cleaned everything up, hot tanked it, and then put the springs and retainers in. What you got over there, bro?
Some messy goop, the gabba goop.
Molly lube.
That's it.
J-Rock put the ARP head studs on. Don't worry, we're gonna power wash this block and clean it up after we're all set, but ARP head studs are on, brand new head gasket.
OEM head gasket.
Make sure to use the OEM head gasket when building your engine because those AutoZone ones are not it. Can you tell the people how you clean those pistons?
I don't want to talk about it.
Nah.
A lot of elbow grease and brake clean. Wire wheel with a brass wire wheel, I guess.
That cleaned up like really, really good.
Yeah.
This is a used engine, used TSX motor. All the pistons look pretty good. So we're gonna put the cylinder head on now with the ARP head studs.
You gotta lube them beforehand because trying to lube these with the head on, you'll never get it. And less is more. Don't goop them up where it's just too much.
Looks good. Here's the Type S oil pump kit. All on. He has a FG, so we have to use his oil pan. I'm gonna leave the engine on the stand for now until his car gets here. For the most part, we're gonna get this pretty much buttoned up and then the oil pan will be last. I get his valve cover and stuff on. We'll take it off the stand with the pan and then put the clutch on. This video is just gonna be for just installing the head on the block, and that's pretty much it. He did a good job there. Shout out to E&G.
I want to know what they use to clean the valves because when they have that carbon buildup, it's like almost impossible to get them clean.
He did a really good job. Let's get this going, baby. How's it taste?
Brand new.
Yo, Jera, what's the torque specs?
Fuck your torque specs.
So what's ARP's torque specs?
So they want 3 steps up to 80. So it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's 20, 40, 80 or 20, 60, 80, whatever it is, whatever you want to do. I'm going to do 40 because this is a 1/2 inch. I'm going to do 40, 60, and 80.
All right, and then there's a sequence.
Yeah, I got to Google that because it's like...
Yeah, so usually we find it online. I think it's usually like 1, 2, and then 3, 4, something like along those lines. You always want to do them like kind of like opposite.
Yeah, I wouldn't wing it. I would just Google OEM torque sequence for a head on a K-series. They're all online. It's super easy to find. And just go by that. Don't wing it, honestly. And then even the cam caps, same thing. Torque specs and sequence on those as well.
The ARP comes with like obviously all the paperwork for it. If you bought used stuff or whatever, cool. If you got the money, buy some L19s, whatever you plan on keeping this motor for a while. ARP, we only use them once, maybe twice. You can torque them down. I recommend what we run, Speed Factory L19s or the L19 head studs. You can reuse them forever. We haven't changed this on any of our cars. Like every now and then maybe, but that's gonna be the last pair of head studs you'll ever buy. So if you plan on like putting this engine together and like, hey, look down the road, I want to build another engine, you can reuse the same L19 studs. If you're planning to go that route, but if it's like a one and done type of deal, ARPs are great. Let's get this head torqued down.
Got my little sequence right there.
You found the sequence on Google, huh?
That's
Can't
it.
really get that. Let me see. But that's the sequence. You can find it on Google.
Make sure you know which side is timing and which one is not. So
Let's get this going.
I don't use my techniques either. Got my table ready to go. Got it set to 40. One is right here.
You're pretty good at turning that. It's like you've done that before.
And then when you're torquing a head, don't ever use it like a ratchet. Make it in one long sweep so the torque is actually...
Wait, so repeat that one more time.
So whenever torquing any head stud or any bolt in general, don't ever use it like a ratchet. Like you may get to this point and be like, shit, I gotta reset. Don't ever use it like a ratchet. Do it in one long sweep to get the full proper torque spec on it.
That was a great example.
You like that?
Yeah. Yo, real quick before we put those in, right? Mm-hmm. Remember the car that came in here and didn't have those in
Yeah,
it?
they were missing and it sounded insane. It sounded like you need a motor.
Here, Jack, real quick, what is that?
Engine assembly lube. This motor was already ran. It's not like brand new, but we are putting brand new cams, so you don't want any dry material, metal to aluminum on first startup. You get some premature wear. We don't want that. It's nice to give you the valve lash and everything.
Jack Cartel 3.2s.
The OGs.
Whenever you put cams in, you gotta do a valve lash.
Always.
Always.
Anytime. Even if you do anything with your rockers. You ever pull your rockers off, you need to adjust your valves.
Don't skip that step.
Don't do it. Don't be that guy.
We honestly, at the track, we do a valve lash like
In between rounds.
in between rounds we try to, but that's just like different, like that's like race car stuff. I usually do a valve lash on a new build, one before the dyno, one after the dyno, and then kind of like one after you like fully break it in. Jack Cartel cans are the best.
Not like some freshies. Oof, look at that.
That's nice. It's a nice piece.
Which cam is this?
So yeah, cams will be marked.
Right here. EX. I'll tell you.
I don't know if I can pick that up, but this one says EX, which is exhaust.
I'll tell you 0032, which is a 3.2, and exhaust. EX for exhaust. It's like putting ketchup on a glizzy, right?
Yo, Jack,
Yep.
what's the cam cap torque specs?
16 foot-pounds.
16?
Yeah.
Sequence?
Sequence is locked in.
Got the sequence locked in. Sorry this is blurry, but there's a sequence also for the cam caps. You can find it online also.
And then when I torque these, I go over them twice, just because if something settles, it might loosen up another bolt, so I do the whole thing 2 times at the same spec.
And 16 foot-pounds is not a lot.
Yeah.
So don't gorilla this.
Yeah. The crazy thing is a lot of people do these by hand and they don't realize they're over torquing it. And the cams don't ride on bearings, they ride on clearance basically. So if you over torque them, you're gonna sandwich the cam cap to the cam and you're not gonna get the right oilage.
Everything.
Problems.
Yo, my car not making the horsepower.
Yeah.
So both places have intake and exhaust, right?
Yeah, they're marked. It says in right here. And they sit in a keyway right there. And then we're gonna torque these to 29 foot-pounds.
So those are 29 foot-pounds?
Yep. We got a 24 mil wrench to hold the cam.
So the cartel cams have, you can put a wrench actually on there.
I don't think Skunk 2 cams.
Yeah, there's a set of cams that don't have it.
Skunk 2s. I know the BMFs definitely don't. Alright, so here the exhaust pulse plate marked EX. And you got your keyway and the notch in the cam. Just make sure those line up before you start torquing it down. And then these are 8 mil. Just letting people know it's an 8 mil Allen for the pulse plate bolts.
So we're gonna tighten the exhaust cam gear, and then we have the 50 degree on the way right now. What's the torque spec for the exhaust cam?
Exhaust is 51 foot-pounds.
51?
Yeah.
And then how much is the intake?
Intake is 80.
80 foot-pounds on the intake, 51 on the exhaust. Yo, J-Rock,
Yeah.
explain to the people what you just did.
You lock the cams, so now the cams are top dead center and they won't move on you. So now you just gotta adjust the bottom manually. It's ready for timing.
So we got the new 50-degree VTC gear on. We kept the original exhaust gear. So Jordan's putting the motor on TDC, top dead center. Then we're gonna put the chain, all the guides on, and then put this motor on timing. If you're not a timing professional, don't do this at home.
Yeah, don't try this at home, kids.
What do you got in your hand, J-Rock?
K-Series pulse plate.
And these people, I seen mess them up, put them on
It
backwards.
says outside, right?
Yes,
I've
outside.
seen some people forget them, period. I've done it a couple times. And then I haven't done it yet, but some people put them on backwards.
What is that for?
This is for the crank sensor to pick up the bottom end timing, basically.
So the outside will be facing you.
Yeah, outside would be facing outside of the engine. So when you install it, you want to be able to read it saying outside.
Only reason I say this and I try to explain it to you guys because I've seen multiple cars on the dyno come here and the plates were flipped and it doesn't have any crank signal, so that's a big issue for you. If you have them flipped over, make sure that the outside is pointed outside, obviously. Keep that in mind. Some people forget them too. Don't forget it's a big key factor to having, basically getting your car running.
You know what it's like forgetting to put one of those on, sealing the timing cover and having the motor in the car?
It's a big deal.
I know what it's like. That's one of the most stressful things to find out.
Yo, Jarek, what's next, baby?
Valve adjustment.
Valve adjustment? What are the specs on the valve lash?
We'll go with Dry Cartel's 8 intake and 9 exhaust.
So Dry Cartel recommends 8 intake, which is this side, and then 9 for the exhaust. You get a feeler gauge. Jared got the special tool for the valve lash. It's straightforward.
It's very straightforward. You just gotta be comfortable around cars to do them, I guess. So basically you just loosen this jam nut here, and then there's a flathead in there that adjusts up and down on the stem of the valve. And you want to adjust it so the gauge, the feeler gauge has slight drag in it. So this is perfect. Well, right now I do TDC, which is obviously cylinder 1 is all the way up, so the valves are closed.
So cylinder 1 will be TDC.
Yeah, top dead center, you do 1, you could spin it around and then it goes to a firing order. It'd be 1, 3, 4, 2 in rotating order. It's just easier. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, you have to actually spin the motor around one whole extra time, which we don't got time for that, right?
No.
So we're just gonna spin it around.
So we're gonna start 1, 3, 4, 2.
Yep.
So what was this spec on this side?
This is 8.
So 8 and what?
9 is exhaust. The bigger gauge is always for the exhaust side.
So Jack Cartel is gonna give you basically a cam card with this and what to set your lash at. You've seen the lash is right there down at the bottom. And it gives you the lift. It literally gives you everything that you need. So we'll do a valve lash and get right back to it. Yo, J-Rock.
Yeah.
Can you explain how important a valve lash is?
Valve lash is very important. They always say a loose valve is a happy valve because if your valve's too tight, you could actually burn your valve because it holds open. And you probably lose fuel mileage if you're that type of guy, or lose power if you're that type of guy, right?
So make sure to get a valve lash done.
Just get your valves done. Valve adjustment.
All right, the motor's pretty much complete. We're waiting on his motor mounts. I have a clutch kit here and waiting for him to bring the car. We have to pull a swap out of his car, basically get his oil pan. He's bringing us a powder coated valve cover, so I'm just gonna seal it with mine for now or just put it on top. But that's pretty much it. Drag car tail cams are in, cylinder heads on. Everything's pretty much buttoned up. We're gonna do cleanup on this after, once we get the transmission bolted to the motor. That wasn't bad.
Easy peasy.
That was like what, a few hours?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, few minutes, or
For you guys, a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty much done. We're just gonna put the valve cover and the oil pan, new VTC gear. All this will clean up nice. You have to degrease it. Yeah, pretty much how to build a 260 horsepower K series. This is not a show car build. This is just simple. Like if you go get an engine from the junkyard and you want to put something together to make 260, it might be make 250, 260-ish, but that's pretty much what the goal is here. Well, we'll see you guys back when the car gets here, maybe in a month or two, depending on, we have Honda Day coming up. We have a bunch of stuff going on here. I got my brother's car to finish. By the time his mounts come in from Hasport, about a month. There's an FG, be on the lookout for it. We're gonna take his engine out of the car, put this engine in, and dyno tune it, so we'll get all that in one video when he comes back. But that's the plan. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel.
Drop a comment.